Hi, I'm Lisa Squire, Senior Communications Advisor with Alberta Health Services, and this is Health Matters. Today we're going to be talking with Laura Craig, and Laura is a public health dietitian with Nutrition Services, and she's located in the Community Health Centre in Brooks. And we're going to be talking about nutrition labels. So welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So why don't we start off by having you tell me, why is it important for people to even read labels on their food packages?
That's a great question, Lisa. And food labels help us make healthy choices. They help us also to compare similar food items to each other.
And is it mandatory? Is there a law, that all packages need to have nutrition labels?
No, actually it's not. Not all foods have to have a food label. Some foods that don't have a food label can be things like fresh fruits and vegetables, raw meats and alternatives like seafood, also bulk foods, alcoholic beverages, and single-serving packaged foods, just to name a few.
And where can we find the nutrition label on packaging?
The nutrition facts information that we're going to be focusing on today is located in two areas. We're going to look at the ingredient list as well as the nutrition facts table.
So there are times, I do look at the packaging, but sometimes I'm not sure exactly what it is that I'm looking for, or if what I'm looking at is really actually healthy. So, when we're looking at it, what should we be looking for?
So first off, when we look at the ingredient list, we want to make sure that we look for there in order to tell us which products it has, which ingredients it has in it. Different ingredients can be things that we'll go through in a second. I'll tell you some key things to look for. But what the ingredient list tells us is how much weight that product has. It's all listed by weight. So the highest amount is listed at the start of the ingredient list and the lowest amount at the end. Foods such as salt, words like salt, sodium, and soda are things that we want to avoid in the first three ingredients. For sugar, we want to look for products that have little or no added sugar, and they can be words such as sugar, sucrose, glucose, fructose, dextrin, or even things like high fructose corn syrup and concentrated juice. For fats, we want to choose fats that have the words non-hydrogenated oils in them. Those are our healthier kinds of fats. And we also want to look for products that have whole grains, which means it has a lot higher fiber and more nutrients in it.
And you mentioned before the nutrition facts table.
Yeah.
So what is that, and what kinds of information can we find on there?
On our nutrition facts table, we have information that tells us about the calories in the food, as well as the serving size and 13 different nutrients. It can really help us compare different products to each other, and that way we can pick the one that's the healthier choice.
And I see that you brought some examples here.
Yes,
so,
I did.
Well, yeah, why don't you tell me a little bit, what is it that you have here?
Okay, so here I have the nutrition facts table, and right below that, the most important area to look at is the serving size amount. So here is the serving size for this cereal is 1 cup. That's about the size of this baseball. Then all the information below that depends on that serving size. So we have to ask ourselves, how much of that product are we going to be eating? Are we going to be eating more than 1 cup or less than 1 cup? Because all the numbers in this facts panel depend on that 1 cup serving size. If we look next, we want to look at the percent daily value. And on cereals, it's in 2 spots. The first spot is the dry cereal, so just the cereal itself. And the second area has the cereal plus the milk. We want to look at just the cereal on its own. And the areas that we're going to look for is we want to see if there's going to be a little of the nutrient or a lot of the nutrient in it. So this percent daily value, or percent DV as it's usually labeled on the nutrition facts table, tells us if it has a little of a nutrient or a lot of a nutrient in it. Things that have 5% or less mean it has a little of a nutrient in it, and 15% or more means it has a lot of that nutrient. Things that we want less of or little of are saturated and trans fat, sodium, as well as sugar. Things that we want more of are things like fiber, our vitamins, as well as our minerals like calcium and iron. On here, we can see the saturated and trans fat is 3%. That tells us that this has a little saturated and trans fat, so that's a good choice. For sodium, we go over and it has 12%. 12% tells us that it is higher in sodium. It's not quite a lot, it's not quite to the 15 level, but it is quite high in sodium. For fiber, if we go over to the percentage, it has 20%. So that means it has a lot of fiber in it because it's greater than 15. For sugars, it doesn't give us a percentage on this one, so that's where it gets a little tricky. what we will look for in sugars is we want to choose a cereal or things like a granola bar that has anywhere between 8 to 10 grams or less. So this one has 6 grams, so that's good. Down here, we can see our different vitamins and minerals. For iron, this has 30%, so that says it has a lot of iron. And for thiamine, it has 50%. So that's the way you would read the nutrition facts table, and that way you can compare different products to each other and find that healthier cereal.
Great, thank you so much, Laura. Those are some really great tips. So next time I visit the grocery store, I'm going to be sure to check out the labels, and maybe now I'll actually understand what I'm reading. I'm Lisa Squires, and this is Health Matters.